favorites because it's a clay-based slime, but it's also just super soft and it hasn't hardened over time. Like, this is without any moisturizer being added. And as you can see, it's just super creamy and it inflates so much that every single time I play with it, I have to get rid of literally so much. Next up we have strawberry cream cheese, and like the last slime, it's also a clay one, but this one hardened slightly, and as you can see by me touching it, it was a tiny bit tough at first, but the more you play with it, the softer it becomes, and this one inflates so much. I haven't played with it that much before, so I didn't really notice, but when I was playing with it in this video for maybe like 2 minutes, it just grew by like double, and it just became so fluffy and lovely to play with. Another thing I've really noticed about her slimes is some people's scents go off, but hers keeps so well. It smells just as good as the first day I got it, and as you can see, the slime is also a really good quality. Blueberry buttercream is so nice. So it has really nice sizzles on the top because I think it's made with Daiso clay, and as you can see here, it's super creamy and really soft, and weirdly enough in real life it's kind of glossy as well, which I was really impressed with. And the scent for this, oh my goodness, it's kind of like a sour blueberry scent, like the sweets, and it just smells really good. Cucumber Spritz is probably my favourite slime from her because I love the crunchiness at the beginning, and then I just love the gloss underneath, and that the flame beads don't make it like uncomfortable to play with, it just adds a tiny bit of texture. And this inflates so much and has the most gorgeous fresh scent, so you don't get sick of playing with it. Hot Fudge Sundae is just like the name suggests. It smells just like a kind of cake batter, I guess. This has really nice confetti at the bottom, so it is like a proper brownie mix, and it's just so creamy, and as you can see here, it inflates a tiny bit. First time I received Cherry Italian Ice, I didn't really like it. I thought it was kind of, I don't know, I didn't really like it. It left a bit of residue on my table and I just didn't like the texture. But now I've left it for a while, it feels so nice. I didn't have to reactivate it at all, so I think it might just be that the texture's gotten a bit looser, but I just found that it was so smooth and so creamy, and it had a really nice and interesting texture. Last but not least, we have Apple Laffy Taffy, which is one of her best sellers, and I really liked it because it was just so glossy, and as you can see here, it inflates a bunch as well, so it's really fun to play with. I really enjoyed playing with it just because it was so clicky, and also it just smelled amazing. It smelled like Granny Smith's apples, and I just loved the texture of this. It was a tiny bit harder than it was before, which makes me think it has clay in it. This one wasn't made by her, it was a bunch of slime she bought and made into a smoothie, but it ended up smelling like cat food and it was just really not nice. Next up we have Snoop Slime, and this is one of the most beautiful slimes I've ever laid my eyes on. Oh my goodness, look at the gold, it's just so pretty. And I love that it's a clear slime, and then when it's really clear, all the pigments show through so clearly. I found this to be really thin when it first arrived, but I think that might just be because it was shipping from America and I only slightly activated it. The thing I recommend doing if this happens to you as well is really over activating it and then just leaving it for a few weeks, because this way it will become super clear and it will also be really thick. Emerald Fishbowl is so thick and also just so nice to play with because it has such a good slime to bead ratio, so it doesn't hurt your hands at all, and as you can see here, none of the beads fall out. Next up we have Peachy Babies, and I got a lot of angry comments in my review video saying that this didn't self-inflate, so I'm just going to show you a clip of me playing with it for 30 seconds straight like it's meant to kind of inflate, and obviously this one is poking, so after I did this I also played with it in my hands, but as you can see here, from poking alone it isn't inflating like at all, and I'm playing with basically all of the slime and it's just not doing anything. So I kept playing with it, and as you can see, nothing happened. It doesn't inflate. It just doesn't. Like, people could have different batches and this could have been a bad batch, but this doesn't self-inflate for me. And when I like pat it down after I finished playing with it, it stayed pretty much the same height that it was in the beginning. So obviously I wanted to make this a fair test, so I took it out and I played with it for another 2 minutes. And this did self-inflate a tiny bit, but it wasn't enough to fill the container, as you can see when I pat it down, and it wasn't what I was expecting, and I feel like you should get a bit more product for what you pay. Obviously the next slime is a bit cheaper because it contains foam balls, but basically the same thing happened. I did find that this one inflated a tiny bit more, but it just wasn't what I was expecting. The texture is really nice though. Next up we have Parakeet Slime Strawberry Daiquiri, and this is a really unique slime. It's kind of like a gummy slime, I would describe it as. It's really glossy, but I think it's a clay-based one, and it's just super clicky and super thick. It doesn't inflate, but I just love how thick it is already that I don't feel like it needs to. It's just such a unique product, and I don't have any other slimes like this. Next up we have Audie's slime, and this is her Honey Maple View, which is my favourite slime from her. It's such a thick clear slime, and normally I don't like clear slimes being sent over from America because they always melt, but this one arrives so nice, and the scent is amazing. It's just such a good full scent, and as you can see, it's beautiful when it's not cloudy, and it's also beautiful when it is. I love the name of this one, and it's called Mystery Dum Dum, and it's based on those lollipops, the Dum Dums, and this one is a white one and you don't know the flavour, and it's kind of like that with the slime as well, so you're getting a random scent, and it's just such a thick slime and it has really nice flame beads. Lemon Poppy Seed Batter is her most famous slime, and I see why, because it's just so clicky and super thick. I did find that it's gotten a little less thick since arriving, even though I've activated it, but I feel like she just has a cool technique to get it like that thickness. Last but not least from her, we have Baby Pumpkin Gats, which is just such a cute name, and like the name suggests, it smells like warm pumpkins. It smells like warm pumpkins. Next up we have probably my favourite slime package ever, and this is from the Slime Hive. As you can see, this slime is amazing. It's gone a little harder since I first got it, but I got it literally like 5 or 4 months ago. It was just a really long time, and I haven't really played with it much since because I've been getting so many slimes, and it stayed in such good condition. Next up we have Sour Apple Puff, which is just a clay-based slime, and it smells so good. It's like fresh apples, and as you can see, it's super thick and also glossy. The only slime I noticed changing much at all is Cosmic Brownie. I feel like this has gone a tiny bit darker, which isn't much of an issue to me, but I just noticed it and I thought it was kind of weird. Glossy Cherry Blossom is the most clicky slime I've ever felt in my life. I just thought it was a normal slime when you play with it in the little container. It doesn't sound too clicky, but then when you take it out, it's just the smoothest little thing, and it's so nice to listen to. Next up we have Scented Slime by Amy, and this is her Creepy Crunchy limited edition Halloween slime. It's a super pretty clear slime with a purple base, and it has loads of glitters in it, and then a really good layer of flame beads on the top, so it's super crunchy, and it also comes with a charm. Cinnamon Sugar Donut is so nice. It's doughy, obviously. It's kind of like a butter slime, but it kind of looks like dough, and it just reminds me of a nice little donut, and it smells really good. It's just kind of like those pretzels you get from like Auntie Anne's. I don't know if you guys have that in America, but they're really good. Tropically reminds me of Peachy Baby's Cloud Creams, because it's kind of like a snow-based slime, but it also feels like it isn't. It's kind of really just creamy and nice. Pango Puff Gelato is an actual cloud slime, but I couldn't get any of the slime sounds on camera, which is why there won't be a clip. But as you can see in the future clips, it's really easy to pull apart, and as you can see, it's not leaving any residue on my table, even though it's made with Insta Snow. And it's just so nice to play with, and it falls so smoothly. Then we have Witch's Cauldron, which was another limited edition Halloween slime, I'm pretty sure. And this is just a nice green little, like, it kind of reminds me of Apple Laffy Taffy, and it smells just like apple, and it's just so nice. I got Mother of Dragon Fruit in quite a small size, but it's so fun to play with, and it's really nice to play with in one hand with this size, and like you can see here, it's just a super smooth butter slime. Then we have Nutella Slimy, and this is her banana split foam, and as you can see, it was so hard at first. I honestly couldn't even push into it, but I found as soon as I started warming it up in my hands and just pulling it apart like this, it just became into like a normal slime. It still was kind of tough. I'm not really sure why. I don't know if it's the bees that she used or the actual slime, but it was really crunchy. I remember liking this next slime, but I don't remember being in love with it, but this time I am fully in love with it. And this is chocolate chip cookie dough, and as you can see, it's just the most smoothly falling little thing ever. It's just so nice. Like, I can't even describe my love for this. I just watched this clip over and over, and it comes with little chocolate chip charms in there as well. Then we have Slime New York, who has quickly become one of my favourite shops ever. I actually reviewed her slime when I was a really small account, and I didn't even like have a slime YouTube, I guess, and I just did stuff on Instagram, and she sent me a bunch of stuff, and I remember being so impressed, and her account having like 5,000 followers, and now she has so many, and I can see why, because her slimes are amazing. Another thing I really love about this shop is you can see she fills her slime so high. Like, I feel with a lot of shops, they say it's like 4 ounce and then it's like 3.5 ounces. But with her, I feel like I'm getting the full amount. And this slime is literally the smoothest little butter slime ever, and it's so soft. I always thought the next one was pronounced Hammersmith, but a lot of people said that it isn't, so I'm not going to call it that. I'm just going to call it the fishbowl slime. But this is a really nice one because it has a nice bead to slime ratio, so it doesn't hurt your hands at all. And as you can see, it's super crunchy. Pink Sugar Scrub is a really nice slushy slime, and this has such a unique smell. It's kind of like a really like sweet floral scent, I would say. It's just so nice. I wish I could have it in a perfume, and it has really pretty glitters in it, and again it has a really nice bead to slime ratio. Passion Fruit Nectarine really confuses me because obviously this doesn't really look like a cloud slime at this point, and when I first pulled it, it just kind of looked like a creamy slime. But then the more you pull it, it becomes into an actual cloud slime, so this is a really confusing one. I think it must just be snow or another ingredient packed really tightly, because it does fall like an actual cloud slime once you've pulled it a few times, but it does need a bit of work. I really like this, and again, this doesn't leave any residue, and it's a really good cloud slime. Next up we have Moon Cotton, and I was so shocked when I opened this package because, as you can see, there wasn't much slime in the container, and then as soon as I started playing with it, it became the most inflated slime I've ever played with. It was amazing, and there was so much of it. I have to take some out every time I play with it, and like you can see, it's so thick and it smells just like Oreos. This one has a scent like no other. I really hope that she brings back another slime with this scent because it was just amazing. And as you can see, the slime is also pitch black, which I just loved, and it was just amazing. It didn't get on your hands at all, and it was really creamy. I think Fruit Loop butter's been discontinued now, but this is so nice, and it's just a really nice creamy butter. My favourite slime shop ever is probably Slime Strawberries, just because her slimes are so underrated and so amazing. So this is her cranberry butter, and as you can see, it's so thick and so vibrant. This one has got to be the clickiest slime I've literally ever heard. It's called S'mores, and it was basically composed of a cloud slime texture and also a really clicky slime. And it created just such a unique texture. As you can see, it's really glossy, but it's also kind of like gritty. That doesn't sound very nice, but it gives a bit of like texture when you're touching it. Mystic Bubblegum is gorgeous. It's just a basic pink slime, but I think it's iridescent colouring or like pigment in there. It's kind of metallic, but it is, and it has like a blue shimmer in real life. Sugar Lemon Foam is just a basic foam, and it's so affordable. I was really shocked at the price. This was just $4, and as you can see, it's really glossy and it's just really cute. The next slime is so special, and this is Cotton Candy Cloud, and it doesn't really look like a cotton candy anymore. It was originally pink and blue, and I mixed it together and it made purple, and now it's turned to blue, but it's just such a smooth falling slime, and it doesn't do it justice on camera. I was so annoyed. I tried for ages to get it to like show how good it was, but it didn't really show up. Next up we have Slime King, and this is his watermelon gummy. I really love this because of the size of the container and how full it was, and as you can see, the slime itself is beautiful as well. It's so glossy, and something I've noticed with all of his slimes is how well they keep, and I didn't have to activate this at all from the 3 months that I haven't used it. Metallic Mango is amazing. Normally with scented slimes they can be a bit cloudy, but I found that even when you played with this didn't really become cloudy. Also, I am convinced he has a special ingredient that makes the slimes last longer, because clear slimes always melt for me, even if I make them myself, and this just didn't. Coffee Cake is a butter slime that smells like cinnamon, and like you can see, all of his prices are also really fair, so I think this is probably the best value and best quality slime for the money. I have a love-hate relationship with this slime because it's really nice and it is super crunchy, but the beads fall out and it gets a bit messy. Next up we have Stella Slime's Mango Tango Butter, and this is super nice. Like you can see, it doesn't really look like a Daiso texture. It's super glossy. I don't know how she does it. She probably uses like a special type of clay that allows this gloss, but it's so creamy, and like you can see, it's just beautifully pigmented, and it smells really good as well, and like the name suggests, it has a mango scent. Orange Julius Frost is a really cool name. I found out, I thought it was like a royal name, like one of those really fancy ones, but it's actually just the name of like a slushie that you guys have in America. And this is an icy slime, and it's beautiful. It has little thermo slices in it as well. You can probably see it in this clip. And it also has some little glitters, and it's scented. Strawberry Sorbet has such a unique texture. It's kind of like an icy slime, but a bit less snow, I think, or there might just be a special ingredient that I'm completely mistaking it for, but it smells amazing. It's kind of like a tangy, sour strawberry scent. Cookie Crumble wasn't my favourite. I was kind of expecting a cloud slime, but I found that it didn't fall very smoothly, as you can probably see in this clip. It didn't have the normal cloud slime effect, but it definitely did have the same feel. Next up we have a few slimes from Slimy Cereal, and she sent me her Clown Blood slime, which I found was so glossy and just amazing to play with. As you can see here, it's so thick, and it's just a beautiful colour and holds the gloss so well. Skittle Slime has a really glossy base, and it has really cute coloured beads on the top. It kind of looks like it's evenly spread out, like each flame bead has been perfectly placed to make it look like it has a pattern, which I love, and obviously that doesn't happen because you play with it and then it just rises to the top, but this is a really fun slime to play with. Pumpkin Cheesecake is the best fall slime I've literally ever smelled in my life. Oh my goodness, it's like autumn and winter mixed into one. It's just so comforting, and as you can see, it's super creamy. And then Crystal Ball is amazing. It's just a really nice thick clear slime, and it has really beautiful colours in it. I think it's like a purpley blue glitter. Next up we have my Happy Hobby Slimes, and she sent me a trio. It's like a popcorn trio, and the first one she sent me was cranberry popcorn. And the first time I tried this I wasn't wild about it, but I think I didn't activate it enough, because when it's activated it's so thick, super glossy, and it has a really nice texture, and the scent is really fresh as well. Next up in the trio we have buttered popcorn, and as you can see here I just noticed that my nail fell off, so I was freaking out, but it's a really nice texture. It's just a clear slime and you just push down all the micro beads and it just has a normal foamy texture. And the final part of the trio is caramel popcorn, and this is my personal favourite because it's so glossy. I love the smell of caramel and I just love the colour. It kind of reminds me of hot chocolate. She also sent me Pink Sugar Scrub, which is a really nice slime and it has a really fresh scent. I love the colour of this, and like you can see it's super inflatable, so it's really fun to play with and you get more than you think you have. Then we have Froyo Slimy, and I've received her package I think in my second ever slime review, maybe even my first, I don't know, but I loved her slimes, and this one I didn't actually get to review because it arrived melted and I didn't want to reactivate it, and because it's a clear slime I didn't want it to look really cloudy. But as you can see here, it's super thick and really clear, and I think it's one of the best clear slimes I've ever tried. Tricks Are for Kids is what triggered my absolute obsession with big foam balls. I literally love them. The slime is so glossy and it's just one of the most fun things to play with, and her slimes are so affordable. Like this 8 ounce is $8. That's $1 per ounce, and normally 8 ounces are like £17. The foam beads and rainbow Dippin' Dots are so pretty, they're so vibrant, and I just love playing with this slime because it has like a really thin layer of foam beads opposed to like loads of them, so you don't have to push through. SpongeBob and Patrick originally had 2 colours in it, but obviously I've played with this before, so it's mixed together and made this really nice yellow colour. This is so glossy and it has a little bit of a thinner texture than her other slime, but personally I quite like the contrast. Periwinkle Butter is so nice. It's a really creamy slime, and at first I overactivated this when I first got it, so I added a lot of moisturiser, which could be why it's so soft now, but I found that it was super inflatable and really fun to play with. Last but not least, we have Moons and Skylines, and this is her pink gummy butter. It's such a beautiful slime and it has such a gorgeous texture. Just like Stellar Slimes is a super glossy slime, but it still has that butter texture. Fruit Loops is really nice and thick, and it has so many Fruit Loop charms at the bottom. Normally with these kind of slimes, a Slimer gives you 1 charm, but this has literally like 5 or 6 of them, and they're all different colours, and it really made the slime for me. Literally all of her slimes are amazing. I keep wanting to be like, this one's my favourite, but then I can't decide. I think this one is probably my favourite from her, just because the slime is so thick and it has the perfect bead to kind of slime ratio. Witch's Hat Floam was one of her Halloween special edition slimes, and this comes with a little charm in it, and like all of her other slimes, they are so glossy and just really fun to play with. When the last slime arrived, I was quite disappointed with it because I didn't see it as a